On Tuesday, when Don Norman, an expert in the UX industry, said basically the same thing I've talked about in the last video, that completely made my day. So what happened this Tuesday during the live discussion or live interview was that one of the interviewers asked Don Norman, how can we explain the different terms related to user experience so that my students can understand them? And then Don Norman said basically exactly what I've spoken about in my last video, and that is, forget about the terms, they are a mess, so you don't need to worry about those. All we as UX architects need to do is create something that is enjoyable to use. And when a leading expert like Don Norman says the exact same thing like I did in the last video, that completely made my day. There's nothing else I needed on that day, because I have thought about this for 1 year now and I have come to the exact same conclusion like a leading expert. And that was just such a nice experience to actually see him online talking to us. That was a really, really awesome experience. And due to that event, I want to tell you one more time what my definition of user experience design is. And that is, user experience design is creating a solution that users rather want to have than being without it. And that definition does not worry about any of the other words that might come up related to user experience. Usability, not in the definition, nothing is in there except from the one important thing, and that is that users get something they enjoy that they don't want to have to give away again. And I like to sneak in that word solution there over and over again, because solution is a term that is very broad. If you want to create a solution, it can be, in my mind, be a product, software or service. So you have these three options, and this is what I would like to dive in a bit more deeper today. So let's take one example. Let's say we have a CEO of a big company, and this CEO wants to give his employees more insights into the news that the business is currently doing. As there are multiple different departments, he wants to connect those even more, and he also wants to give the employees the chance to have a bit more deeper insights into the vision of him. So where is he going with the companies? What are the future plans? And this CEO does the right thing. So he contacts a UX design consultant. And he says, well, I want to do this. I want to communicate more news and more future plans to my employees. But I have no idea what the right medium is and how I should do that. And if he came to me, I would give him, or I would talk to him and find out a bit more about the environment of the users. So what are his workers actually doing? What are their jobs? What is the environment like? And all that kind of questions need to be taken into consideration if you want to create the perfect solution for this CEO's business. When would a software be a proper solution? If we face the following situation, let's say that this office of the company of that CEO works in the IT industry, for example. So there are lots of designers working on computers. There are many software engineers also working on computers, the economy department and the organizational stuff, HR and all these departments, they all work on computers. So in my mind, the least expensive option and the most efficient option also would be to have like an internal news blog, because most of the employees are sitting in front of their computers anyway. And that means they all could have or would have access to that medium, and that's why this could be a proper solution. Of course, we need to speak to the users. If they would prefer a different solution, like a magazine, which would be a product, then we would have to go into that direction, of course. But if we only faced the fact what the environment of the business is like, and most of the employees are working on computers, then my immediate suggestion would be to go for a software solution, like a news blog. But of course, this CEO could also give his employees a service solution. So that means if the employees, for example, are in their cars a lot and they have to drive hundreds of kilometers per week, then reading a news blog would not be something they could do because they are driving and they can't read on their smartphone or on their computer in that time. And then a service would be nice. So what I would suggest then is to create some kind of a podcast. So the CEO makes regular podcasts that the employees then can listen to while driving in their cars. And that is what a UX designer does. We look at the environment the solution should be used in, then we look at the user's needs, and then we create a solution based on these different aspects. So what I had in the first sample was a software. Now we had the service, a podcast, and now there's only one thing left, which is the product. So let's say that the employees work in a loud and notebook unfriendly environment. Then the first two options are none, because you can't listen to a podcast if it's loud, and you can't read the news blog if the environment is notebook or generally mobile devices unfriendly. And if this CEO wants to give his employees more insights into the current news and also the future plans, and neither a podcast is working due to a loud environment, nor is a software working because the employees simply do not have access to any devices they could run the software on, then only one option is left, and that is a product. So if this CEO wants to communicate the news and the future plans via a product, I personally would suggest that he should go for a journal, a magazine or something like that. Because a magazine, the employees can always read it. No matter what the environment is like, they can grab the magazine and can read through it and perceive all the new information. These are the three optimal options in my mind. So if you would come to me and you want to say, well, I want to give the news to my employees, I would think about the environment, think about and talk actively to the users what their wishes are, and then I would probably come up with one of these three solutions, either a news blog as a software, or a podcast, or a journal. And this is what I wanted to give to you today. But if you have any sort of problem that is related to user experience design, you have to think about the environment. You have, of course, to think about what your users want. And you have to actively talk to them. And then you can always create a solution. And a solution is always a product, software, or service. And once more, the definition for user experience design is creating a solution that users rather want to have than being without it. And with that, I would like to end today's video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're on YouTube, please subscribe to my channel and also turn the notifications bell on. And if you are on any other platform, feel free to connect with me. I'm looking forward to you also for your comments down in the comment section. Thank you so much. Have a nice day, and I will see you in the next video.